Our first in-person meeting since 2019. So thank you so much. Thank you, Miss Ola, for allowing us to meet here at Greater Fairfield Baptist Church. Thank you, everyone, for being in attendance. My name is Taryn Bell. I'm the president of Center Hill Neighborhood Association. So we're going to go ahead and begin. We have a lot to talk about today. We're first going to begin with our special guest from GDOT. You all have some announcements for us. So I'm going to give you the floor. You can introduce yourself.
My name is Audra Rojek. I'm with WFP. We're an engineering firm hired by GDOT and ATL DOT to do a project in the area. We're going to be doing what they call a road diet. It starts at Hamilton E. Homes and goes over to basically Maddox Park. And the idea is to take the 4 lanes down to 2 lanes with a center turn lane. That will do us some good over the long term by making some room for some pedestrian improvements, although you won't see those immediately, but it will create the room so you can have a better sidewalk, maybe bike lanes eventually. It will also, we're hoping, address, maybe do some traffic calming, slow things down a little bit. I know there have been some, this is basically in response to pedestrian fatalities that have occurred in the area, and so it's sort of a quick fix. It's the fastest thing, at least if you're a Department of Transportation, this is what we think of as quick. It will take maybe a couple of years before you see it happen, but you'll start seeing people in the corridor pretty soon with doing some survey. I guess the area that what we call the corridor is an old trolley line area, so there might still be some trolley line tracks underneath the road, so we have to test for that and make sure that if we're going to dig up, we'll just basically take off the top layer of the road, repave, put down some new striping. It's not gonna be a very long project. It should be over pretty quickly once we get the construction started. But we have to make sure that if there are some trolley lines out there, that we don't disturb them. We want to make sure that we don't hurt anything historic in the area and that we stay within the roadway. So that's basically what's going to happen. There's some information on that you can find this project on the GDOT website, which will give you some updates as we go. And right now, we've just got our notice to proceed last week from GDOT. So we are basically at the very beginning of our schedule, but we want to let you know it's coming and to let you know if you have questions, you can find this information. I'll also leave this here, and that will tell you who to contact at GDOT. And if you have any questions, PM on our side is Lawrence, and he's here as well to answer any questions that you might have.
Can you tell us again the area?
Yes, sure. I have my little map here. It starts at AT Homes.
Okay.
And then it goes over towards Maddox Park. And basically right around where that, across the rail line, that Maddox Park, is where the road diet will end.
Okay.
And GDOT has a website that they've dedicated to to DL Hollowell. And there's a lot of other projects happening on the corridor, as well as that big rebuild of the west side interchange at 285 and 20. And all that stuff is covered there, so it's sort of like your one-stop shop for whatever is happening most recently. So if you start seeing construction and you're wondering what it is, they have a website you can actually check it out.
Please, you can.
I'm Audra Rojek.
Audrey?
A-U-D-R-A. R-O-J-E-K.
And the time frame? I know you said you will start seeing.
So we'll do the engineering, which is like you'll start seeing the surveyors out there. Right now, it's supposed to go to let, which is where we hire somebody to construct it, in 2 years. We're hoping to get it done before then because the idea is to have a quick response. We'll just see how the contracting goes, but that's the latest you can see this be implemented in the area. That's it.
I had a question. We worked with the Atlanta Bicycle Coalition for about several months, and we were promised by Samuel Harris that there would be some community input, make sure that they would know. We never got a timeline of the community input.
Okay, so there will be a big, what we call a PIOH, a public information open house, towards the end of this year. And at that, we will ask you about what else we should be doing. Since we're doing like this is like a first phase project. And then we'll be asking the community, what else do you need? Where do you need pedestrian crossings? Are you in favor of bike lanes? Is that something we should invest in this area, or are you more interested in having a wider sidewalk? We will have those conversations at that meeting. make sure that we've emailed this community so that can get dispersed. And I don't know if we'll make it back out again, but we'll make sure that that information makes to this group so that you can attend the meeting. And lately we've been having meetings in person, but we've also been trying to do stuff online to make it convenient. So you'll probably see some links from us so you can make your comments known online if you can't make it out to the meeting.
So you think it's only gonna be one meeting? Or
We have one big meeting planned that we do, and the online version might last longer.
Which one highway did you mention?
It's on DL Hollowell.
Oh, it's DL Hollow, not Farley Highway.
Yeah.
You're gonna take it down to Farley's?
We're gonna take 3 with one in the middle, with a turn lane in the middle, because it's being treated. What we hear, the purpose of this project is that people are going too fast for the neighborhood conditions around for this segment of the roadway.
So
it
even
was-
with Microsoft coming,
Yes,
I'm just
even-
concerned with, the traffic that will increase
yes,
with Microsoft coming, so we're reducing it down now to 3 lanes?
that is correct. And this may not stay this way forever. It's something we're doing right now because of the pedestrian fatalities. If it doesn't work, we can take it back. We'll just see how this goes. We're hoping just to make it a safer place and make the operation a little easier on people right now. But if everybody hates it and you come to the IOH and let us know that too, that's something that we can take back to GDOT and ATLDOT and have them do that as well.
And then you said it's 3 lanes, so which side is the 2 lanes on?
Oh, it's 1 lane in each direction and then 1 surface.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah, that was a
gotcha.
great question. Thank
One-
you, Victor.
One lane in each
That's why I'm
direction.
concerned, yeah.
One
Yes.
Jason,
There was talk of a BRT, a bus rapid transit line down DLH. Is that still in the works? That's MARTA, obviously, but
Yeah, I don't know about that project. I'm
Mhm.
sorry.
so, Aaron, go ahead.
So in terms of getting this meeting information out to the community, I know you mentioned emailing it. Is this information being shared with the schools? Because I know there's a lot of shifting of school zones and reassignments, and there's a lot of schools along DLH that will be impacted by this. So I'm curious if there is a plan to get this out to the respective schools to encourage attendance at the meeting.
Really
Yes,
the
typically we quote
NPUs.
you out to a
But even
meeting.
that, I mean,
That's-
all the parents aren't going to the NPUs.
Yeah.
The school is where you're going to get the parents and the motoring traffic. I mean, we're the ones that have to deal with people flying through the school zones. So to that point, yeah.
That is typically we let all the churches know because they usually have a pretty good way of getting the information out to their people who go to the schools because they can put it up on bulletin boards.
Okay.
We try to go through community groups like this, NPUs, and just make sure that we have as many touch points as possible because we want everybody who cares about the meeting to be there. We don't want anybody to miss it if they want to be there. But and frequently, because we're cheap, we like to have the meeting at a school. So you might just see us in the gymnasium as well.
Makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I think our major concern is, so based on research, how does decreasing from 2 lanes to 1 lane improve pedestrian safety?
It would slow down traffic.
Because it causes more traffic, because it's now 1 lane.
Yeah, I guess. Well, that's a good point.
The idea of a road die is twofold. One reason is to calm traffic by reducing the amount of lanes. Yeah, it can have the effect of increasing the traffic if the traffic decides to stay there. This is a situation that GDOT's asked us to design. So some of the larger planning things that I can't answer. We're designing this first phase, which, as Audra said, is going to be pretty much a repavement, repainting, and realignment of some of the signals. Now, with that said, and part of the reason that there will be a separate open house is to discuss any future, more long-term impacts in the area. As you might think that a more long-term impact would be if we were to really be reducing it to truly 3 lanes, 1 in each direction, and putting curb and gutter. That's not what's happening this go around. All it's going to be is getting brand new pavement with striping. So, yeah, to answer your question, I'm not involved in the traffic. I haven't looked at the traffic on that. We're going to be designing the first project. But typically speaking, the road diet has 2 purposes. One is to calm traffic, to make it a little safer. Another is to create more buffer areas for businesses and development, and anybody, pedestrians. And, that's typically what they're used for. Again, though, GDOT has tasked us in this particular project simply to remove the pavement, repave it, put striping, and realign the signals. There will be probably a future project that GDOT will be programming. That's the intent. I can't speak to that. But I know that that's the purpose of these other open houses, starting with the one. Maybe others. I don't know.
And you all said the community involvement session is going to be towards the end of this year?
It will be fall. I think right now I'm imagining fall, late. So I'm imagining October, but I'm not totally sure.
Can we ensure that we're included on that? This is a big concern. Like, imagine when Microsoft comes and like that is completed on that end. I understand like slowing down the traffic, but my goodness, reducing it down to 2 lanes, that is a concern.
So I can speak as like an armchair urban planner. So there's 2 concepts at play here. One is people drive as fast as the conditions allow them to. So by reducing the road size, it will cause people to drive more carefully. The other is the concept of induced demand, where if you make the road bigger, more people will drive down that road and faster. So what will happen is people will find alternative routes. They'll go down 20, or ideally they'll use public transit. And part of the Microsoft campus extension is also extending the heavy rail MARTA as well. So for a community that lives along this road, in my opinion, this is good because it's going to slow down the traffic, and then the people who don't need to stop in the community will find another way around.
And I mean, on top of that, there's a bike lane or extended sidewalk that will incentivize using those.
And I mean, part of the reason there's so many pedestrian fatalities is the sidewalk is small and the cars are driving quickly.
Well, just to clarify, we're not going to be touching the sidewalk as part of this project.
Yeah.
So literally what you're going to be seeing is a removal of pavement. And you know, I can't say this is exactly how it'll be, but conceptually, you'll have a center with a 2-way turn. You've seen that, and then 2 lanes on the side. So effectively, you'll have what is now the edge of the pavement. You won't have the first stripe for a few feet in. So there'll be more room. And yes, you're right. It's a perceived thing. The paint does encourage people to slow down. It just changes the way people look at that.
And at the end of 18 homes, it becomes 2 lanes anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they still travel there, so.
But I would encourage participation in public meetings that are upcoming. Like I said, our purpose is to design the first thing that we're doing. I don't want to say first phase because I can't speak for GDOT, but what this is, I do think it will be an improvement. You'll get new pavement, new signals, and an opportunity to discuss this with GDOT. We're not involved in the decision on what's the next step. We're doing this first step.
How many more stoplights will we
My understanding, is that we're going to remove and replace the ones that are there. Yeah, correct. I can't say that that's final, but the intent is to pretty much keep it operating very similarly, only with a reduced lane footprint.
I just want to say that last year we were told that we would have the meetings last fall, last September. So let's hope that this September, October, that we will have those meetings.
Yeah, we were supposed to have a contract last July, so I think that's part of why the thing is delayed for a year, is they had to get a consultant under contract and that took extra time, so I apologize for that delay. I'm hoping that we can go ahead to go to PIOH this fall, and that gives you a chance, you literally take a vote, you can give us a comment card that gives us everything that you feel, but you also get to say I am for or against this project or I'm neutral. And so we do take those, we count those up, we give that to GDOT leadership. And right now, I know this is a real high priority for the city of Atlanta, and GDOT is partnered with them. But if they feel like they're not getting support from the community, I mean, they're doing it because they want to help the community. And if they feel like the community doesn't want it, that might change. So that's, like we're gonna start designing, and when we have a concept, we'll come out, and we'll show it to you so you can see it and kind of get a sense of what this would look like, what it would feel like, and what it would fit in with the community.
Question about how this road will interact with Microsoft. So since it's going to be potentially like a 1 lane leading into a big company campus, are there similar businesses or areas around here that had a similar setup where it's like a big company and potentially a small road, and how they managed to make that work?
I don't know anything off the top of my head, but that's a really good question. The timing is very odd to have fewer lanes at the time that things like Microsoft is coming in, but they have had a real emphasis on MARTA and their pedestrian connections to the MARTA station, and that seems to be where their head is. So I mean, we know that this is Atlanta, and whatever they have in their head, there's probably still gonna be a lot of people driving to work, but we'll have to see how that pans out. You know, again, as Microsoft comes in, you know, there's gonna be some changes, I'm sure, with other parts of the world as well, so we'll just have to see if it melts together, and if the project's still a go at the end of the year, in a year from now. Anything else? I have my little handy sheet. I sent you the link, so if anybody wants that, they can ask me for it.
I'll send it out.
Yeah.
We'll send it out to all residents. And then we'll keep all residents abreast on the upcoming town hall, so to speak.
Perfect. So thank you very much. Thank you for letting us know this is coming. I'm glad to be able to let you know early so you can be ready, and we'll just keep you in the loop as it comes.
And I'll reach out to you all in terms of a contact person for GDOT and ADOT in reference to this project. So I want to make sure everyone's concerns are heard.
Yeah.
Because our major concern, aside from traffic, is pedestrian safety. And with no, like you all mentioned, calming devices, but we do need additional lights.
Yeah, and there again, I'm not in a place where we can speak to
Right.
exactly what's gonna be, because we haven't even done a survey yet.
I just want to thank you all for putting this on the table again because we have a long-time investigator who was in Langdon and he didn't hear, you know, what is going to be done. So I just appreciate you coming forth and like Ms. Carol was saying, we need to be now because it really will all will be a statewide measure, you know, there are these drugs right there.
This is the first time I've heard of GDOT doing something like this on a state highway. Like, they usually don't, like, the lane reduction on a state route is really atypical. So I'm surprised at it myself, but I'm excited to see how it works. And once people have some traffic look at what we do,
Yes,
we'll do
yes.
this design, and we'll have some traffic results that we can share with you once we've actually done some work on the project.
Thank you so much for being
Oh, you're happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, little citizen.
Special guest, we have Councilman Amos here representing District 3. Good evening, Councilman Amos, how are you?
I'm good, good evening. Guess that's my cue.
That's your cue.
Good evening, everyone. Apologize for being late and the very casual dress. I was at another event, and of course, I went home, changed clothes, would have delayed me further. Byron Amos, council member, Atlanta City Council, District 3. I got probably, half of City Hill, if not a little less, and I shared the other half with Councilman Hillis. We had a very distinct, very good list we was working on, forwarded from actually last year, from your neighborhood leadership. Have a couple of answers. Speed humps or bumps, whatever you call them, on Baker, I think it was. We're actually still waiting to receive the traffic study that actually what GDOT just got through talking about. Councilman Hillis and myself is waiting to see it, since they say it has been done, and also to see the outcome, so we're waiting on that. We clarified what the community was talking about as far as the radar on Baker, so I'm working on that as well to see how can we get. So we was talking about radar being approved for one side of Baker Road and not on the Center Hill side. I was thinking officer radar gun, and leadership was thinking the speed detector signs that changes and let you know how fast you're moving. So now that we got that clarified, finding out ownership, how can we get one, and if we can definitely get the permitted sign that's there, solar power, that would be good as well. Another thing that I want to be sure as I come out and speak about is I'm getting briefed on the infrastructure bond that you'll be voting on later this year to see exactly what's in that list. And then also, as you know, there is a set aside of 1.5 million for each council district as far as discretionary. And then to look on that to see what individual communities need, prioritize them, and then see if we can begin to match money to projects as well. I'm thinking that's it that was still left on the list.
Yes, I believe that's it. I just want to make sure everyone's clear on what Councilman Amos is referring to. So May 24th, we vote on T-SPLOS funding. Can you explain what that is?
Well, I mean, it's transportation, special local option sales tax. So pretty much it's the continuation of the penny that we have, and it's a list that was put together 2018, I believe it was, before COVID hit, and it's dealing with infrastructure improvement. So it can be sewer, sidewalks, streets, and things of that nature. So that list is already done, orchestrated and laid out by previous council. But like I say, there is a discretionary fund that we have. I do not believe it will be the will of this council to open that list back up, although there are 1 or 2 council members that have actually been seeking to do so, because it is a set list everyone agreed upon prior. So that's where we are now. So the city would vote. So I'm asking you to please vote yes. The city will vote on that to continue that tax, to add those millions of dollars that would go into that list that is already negotiated, and then the discretionary fund as well.
Okay, the discretionary funds, that's the 1.5 million.
Correct.
That our district will have access to.
Correct.
Okay, so we need to, is there a plan for some type of town hall or anything for District 3 so we can kind of discuss our concerns, each neighborhood, and
So, yes,
in terms of the discretionary funds?
correct. My hesitation is we're going to have quarterly town halls, but I think once we get the inner workings of that discretionary, I'm thinking about having a specific town hall just for your priorities to hear directly from you, so we really can get together as a community. We know we talk about infrastructure. I can justify by saying it's only 1.5 million.
Right.
And 1.5 is a lot, but when we talk about infrastructure, it's really not. And there are a lot of needs in the district. So you may find some kind of special survey or some kind of outreach to the community to get your top 3 things probably, to see how the office and I can begin to just categorize things and assign money to it.
I just want to clarify.
Yes.
So there's already T-SPLOS funding that's been allocated. Like there's a list of things that everyone agreed on, it's been allocated, but there's an additional $1.5 million just for District 3 that hasn't been allocated. And so we are wanting to vote and make our voices heard on where we want that $1.5 million to go. Is that right?
Almost. So there's a list that has already, like, if the bond passes, let me say that will allocate to that. And inside of that, there's a 1.5 that'll go to each council district, all 12 districts, and it's plenty of pressure. Nobody did it, but that council member will decide what that 1.5 is spent on. Yes. So I think you said it'll be a vote on it, so it won't be a vote. Unfortunately, it'll fall in my lap to decide whether that 1.5 is spent.
Okay, and so there's 1.5 for District 3 and District 9, like they're separate. So $3
Yes.
million together for Centerville.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now there is a paper, and I got to put it out there because I don't think it was filed. There's a paper by a colleague who wishes to disperse that money to all 15, including the at-large members. And I don't think the district people is going to vote for that, but just so everyone would know. But right now, yes, each council 1 through 12 will have that 1.5.
So when you determine how it will be spent, the 1.5, are you going to look at the speed studies to help determine? How are you going to determine how the 1.5 is going to?
I'm gonna look at emails, conversations, town hall, everything, and try to prioritize the greatest need and the longest needs as well. Look at traffic calming devices, sidewalk paving, pedestrian safety. All of that will go into it. It's gonna be a tough call. All of that will go into the decision making.
Is this a continuation tax or a new tax?
This is a continuation, I believe. We already paid that penny now.
So what was it spent on for your previous years? What was it spent on last year?
But that I really don't know, so I don't want to throw anything out there, especially since the city has been not open for the last year and a half, because there are some ongoing projects, and along with the T-SPLOS money, there's still other pots of money that we can pull from as well. So some things you may think that was paid through a source of the budget was actually paid through something else. So I could, and this DJ Terry here, my chief of staff, let's pull what the last several years T-Splosh has been spent doing, and we'll get it to your leadership.
And I'll get it to you. We'll get it.
Questions?
Any further questions for Councilman Amos? If you think of anything, just email me. I can say my email out loud, but I don't think that would be helpful. But we'll send out an email, and you guys can follow up if you have any further questions for Councilman Amos.
And then I can give you my cell phone number now, and then I go to the truck and grab some cards. Telephone number 404-587-6811. That's 404-587-6811.
We can also send it out in
Correct.
the email. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, you all, we have Naomi from Food for Life here to present to us.
This is kind of a change of pace. Food for Life is a mutual aid organization. We're all volunteer members, and we give food out, free food, no questions asked. You don't have to register, you don't have to give anyone your name. We just set up a table, 1060 Donald Lee Hollowell. We're there on Saturdays from 1 to 3. It's mostly produce. And it's fresh. We get it delivered once a week. We're part of a food co-op with 6 other groups we get a box truck full of fresh produce on Wednesdays. And we set up all over the city. We're in Lakewood, Clarkston, Westlake, and I'm forgetting, Edgewood, right. And one other place that I'm not thinking of. And we just come at 1 o'clock, set the tables up, put the food out, and anyone can just come and get it. It's it. As I said, we are not a charity. This is mutual aid. We believe that food is a human right, period. That's it. I don't know what else to say. Is there any,
It's great. They have everything from baguettes to cucumbers to everything. So I encourage everyone to go if you can.
Yeah, I did a bunch of flyers. Please take them and give them to your neighbors, anyone you think may. It's not a question of need, or it's because we believe that food is a human right. It's not like, oh my gosh, you have to be impoverished and desperate to get the food. I eat out of there. And it's a really big shift to stop thinking about things as charity and as handouts, and more that as people on this planet, I won't even say community, I'll just say people on the planet, mutual aid is, we've got to help each other out. I think that's the only way we'll get out of this fix, actually. It's that. So we're on Donald Lee Hollowell, as I said. I think it's called Parcel 44 now. It's the area that's getting gentrified. There's a big warehouse space that was part of the railroad. And we're in front of that. There's a lot of graffiti, and there's a once a month indie market that's happening there. A bunch of stuff happening.
What was it, parcel 44?
I think it's called Parcel 44 now. It's where there was a big railway station. The whole parcel's, I want to say something like 30 acres or something.
1060 Donald Lee Hollowell?
Yeah, 60. We're very visible from the road. Plus, we have signs that say free food, because that's all it is free food. Okay. Whoop.
Question, see that,
Yes.
because there's now the free 99 fridge.
We collaborate.
Okay, I was wondering about that, because there's
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday at the grocery spot now, and it's
The
also,
grocery spot, unfortunately, is shutting down.
yeah, they collaborated with the mutual aid, so now it's just a free 99 big
Right.
place.
And when we have extra, we just drop it off there. A number of our members cook out of what we get and leave it in the fridges. Yeah.
So I actually forgot flyers, but I wanted to say that too. It's another mutual aid where the grocery spot used to be. It still says the grocery spot, but they partnered with it's free 99 fridge, and it's an actual store where you can get produce and everything free. It's
But
just like
the store's shutting down.
I was gonna say, did you say the grocery spot is?
because they just reopened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
no,
shutting down.
unfortunately, they're shutting down. They're just gonna do the fridges. If you go on their Instagram,
Yeah.
I think they posted it yesterday. They shut down. Yeah.
But go while it's there, if it is there, because that just started like 2 weeks ago.
Any other questions? This is pretty straightforward.
Thank you.
Thanks. Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. Yeah. And please tell people.
I've got to go.
Alan from Dustin Hillis' office. Thank you.
Hello everyone, again my name is Alan Holmes. I work in the office of Councilmember Hillis. So I just wanted to send a few updates. Councilman Hillis have recently done some surveys about a lot of the code enforcement issues, so we're getting those submitted. A lot of the junk, trash, and debris, overgrowth, and some consistent issues. Getting those submitted to 311. We're trying to just make sure that some of those houses get on the green list as well. Because some of them are obviously houses that need to be demolished. We're also continuing to get in these streets from neighbors in Center Hill where there's littering, because there's going to be another cleanup with Georgia Works coming up. But if there's any other streets that aren't already on the list, feel free to email those to us. You can email them to achomes@atlantagA.gov, and that's achomes@atlantagA.gov. We already have a lot of the streets in Center Hill on the list, but we can't. Sometimes we miss streets, but we add any streets that have issues with littering and dumping just to make sure there's full coverage. I know the mayor is doing Operation Clean Sweep this weekend, where he'll have city employees will be out doing addressing some of the litter and tire dumping across the whole city. So we did send Public Works the whole list of the District 9 hotspots, so they may be able to hit some of those areas this weekend, but you can never have too many cleanups. So Georgia Works will be out again soon to do some cleanups in areas where there's consistent littering. If there's any other questions, I'll leave Councilman Hillis' number. That's 404-330-6044. Again, the number is 404-330-6044. Anybody have any questions?
I think where can we find the list of streets that are on there?
If you email me, I can send you a list.
Okay.
You can have it. It's a running list.
And it's ACHOMES.
HOL.
Has anyone said anything about Camp Best Friends for the summer?
I have not got any updates about that.
Yeah, they're gonna have it. They're actually having a hiring event really soon, so I can send you all that information too. But they do plan to have some campus meetings.
You're welcome.
Okay, you all moving right along. Committees reports, beautification. Okay, so we're having an MPUJ cleanup for Earth Day, which is April 22nd. So I have a flyer to send out to you all electronically. We'll get that to you all, but let me pull this up.
Is that cleanup on Earth Day? On Friday?
Yes, so it's going to be, it's Earth Day neighborhood cleanup plus block party. So it's April 22nd, which is a Friday, and that's actual Earth Day. And that is from 9 a.m. to 12. We realize a lot of people are going to be working. And then the block party consists of, is really with, it's going to be at the Grove Park Foundation. So they're going to grill, so they'll have hot dogs, hamburgers, all that stuff. So that will be on Friday, and then on Saturday, it'll be the same thing, but with vendors, I believe, on Saturday. So I can get you guys the flyer. In terms of organization, I'm thinking back to this meeting, I'm sorry. So Friday is from 9 a.m. to 12. People are kind of going to be assigned areas. And then we will all come back to the Grove Park Foundation, and that's where the food and, you know, the block party will be. And then Saturday will be the same thing. Now, of course, for our area, if we want to focus on our street, whatever street you're on in Center Hill or whatever that looks like, that's fine. And then if you want to just come back to Grove Park Foundation at, I believe it's at 12 for refreshments, then you're open to do that. I believe they're going to have t-shirts for us. They're going to have different vendors, like I said, on Saturday. So that's what it's going to look like. So this is an MPUJ-wide cleanup for Earth Day. So we hope to see you guys there if you can make it. We're thinking, of course, that the majority of people will be able to make it on Saturday. Most people will be working on Friday, which is perfectly fine. So I can get the flyer out to you guys. The flyer I have now on my phone, it has a QR code. So if anyone wants to scan it, then we can do that as well.
Is the time the same on Saturday, 9 to 12?
Yes. So that's for beautification. Ms. Rhoda, did you all have any questions for me about that? I guess the flyer would be helpful, right? So I'll get that to you all as soon as I can. Ms. Rhoda, did you have anything for education?
Oh, yeah. For education, the great thing about Georgia State University has said they will not require SAT scores for the class of this fall only. And they're doing that partly because of COVID, but this is a one-time thing, and I think that's great for any students who wanted to go to college and felt like, oh, this is going to be a struggle. It's not. This time, they're going to look at the kids' grades, how well they scored, and I heard this on the news. May need more investigation, but the thing about, we talked about critical race theory, and that's been a hot topic for a while. It passed in the Georgia House, so teachers, you know, they have to be a little careful what they're saying, although it's never really been taught in the state of Georgia. It's been taught in other states, but it's really actually just a college level course. So that has already passed. A great thing, Good Samaritan has a gym. It's a small gym, but it's great. It has a Peloton bike. It has treadmills. It's a really close-knit area, and it's right up here, a little further down, but it's next to Good Samaritan. So that's great for us. And that's all I have for education.
Thank you, Ms. Rhoda. You all, I'm going to go back just because I want to make sure I'm touching on everything. So, Center Hill Neighborhood Association partnered with the Grove Park Foundation to apply for an AARP grant. So that was applied for a couple weeks ago. We submitted everything. The purpose of the grant is to increase safe pedestrian mobility. And so we wanted to focus on Baker Road and the lack of pedestrian safety on Baker Road. If we are, and that will be the Center Hill portion of the project. There are essentially two parts to this project, the Center Hill portion and then the Grove Park portion. So we have Center Hill and then the Grove Park Foundation, we partnered together. So for the Center Hill portion, the project will be us piloting a pedestrian lane. It will not be for the entire length of Baker Road, because if we did that, we would have to omit street parking, and we can't do that for entire Baker Road. So it will be from Woods to H.E. Holmes. And the rationale is helping to connect pedestrians to our main corridor, which for us would be H.E. Holmes, and then they can access other bus stops, they can access MARTA, they can access church, they can access more resources. So that's the rationale behind that. The major purpose of this project, and hopefully we are awarded the funds, the major purpose is to get the city's attention. Baker Road, lack of pedestrian safety. We need sidewalks. If not sidewalks, we need additional calming devices. So that's the purpose of the project. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's opening
Thank you to Councilman Hillis's office. They wrote a letter of support for the grant. Thank you, Councilman Amos's office. They wrote a great letter of support for the grant. So we appreciate that. If we are funded, we will have something similar to a town hall, so residents can have input on how we would like this pedestrian lane to be designed in terms of the artwork. We want the artwork to stand out, and we want it to represent Center Hill. So that will be that. We should be notified by June, I believe, so we'll keep you all abreast, but we're keeping our fingers crossed. This is something we need for the community. Everyone's familiar with Baker Road and lack of pedestrian safety. So, and shout out to the Grove Park Foundation for partnering with us. The reason we had to partner with a nonprofit is because we are not a nonprofit. So what better nonprofit to partner with in Grove Park, since Baker Road is Center Hill and Grove Park. So that was the rationale behind that. Let's see. For zoning, just a few updates. Activities are taking place in the new West Side Park. There's a Purple Stride walk April 30th. There's Purple Stride, forgive me, I do not remember exactly what that is. It's some form of cancer. What this organization represents. It's not breast cancer, but it's another type of cancer that this organization represents. So they're having a Purple Stride walk. Mr. Pig Smokehouse on Donnelly Howell, they applied for an alcohol license and it was approved. In addition, I think the updates. Yes. Those are those updates.
Yeah, so I'm Ben Norman. For those that haven't been attending our neighborhood association meetings, we were awarded a grant through Park Pride for Center Hill Park to build trails out in the woods and a bridge over Proctor Creek that'll connect both sides of the park, so that you'll be able to park in that back part of the park where there's a lot of parking and be able to walk across the bridge and go over to where the softball fields are. So that's a project that we just got awarded about a little over a month ago. It'll take about 1.5 years, but anyone that wants to be involved in helping develop out Center Hill Park, my name's Ben Norman. Contact me, and I'm the environmental chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Okay.
Ms. Addie, I know Jason left. Are there any updates In terms of finance, the finance department.
We still have the same amount of funds in our account from last month. There have been no expenditures, $900, and we are opening a bank account. So we'll be able to accept funds for membership. Membership is $1 per month, and Jason will be getting with us to let us know how we'll be able to do that. We'll get that out. We're going to use the Delta Community Credit.
Yay.
Thank you, Ms. Addie. Did we have any other announcements? Yes, Councilman Davis?
Very quickly, I forgot. You know, anyone interested, remember the mayor has started midnight basketball. And I remember I looked up to see Officer Nash of the fire department because they was there. He always reminds us to say that it doesn't start at midnight. It actually starts at 7 p.m. It goes to midnight. But it's a wonderful opportunity. This will be the second one. This is Wednesday, April the 13th. It'll be at the C.T. Martin Natatorium Recreation Center, Old Adamsville Center, well, you know, us natives. But it's different. It's just not basketball games. We have police out there hiring, fires out there with information, as you can see what she have here. Human resources from the city of Atlanta is out there. There's other vendors that are out there that actually doing something more.
We bring people out here. They just want to see what we're doing.
That's what it is. But if you can make it by, please go by. Like I said, it was Wednesday, let me give you the right time and date again. April the 13th at 7 p.m. CT Martin Recreation Center. And like I said, it's a host of things. So if you know someone or one of our young people in the neighborhood, or older people in the neighborhood that's looking for a job, resources, things of that nature, that would be the opportunity to go and get.
Do you have electronic flyer?
I can send it to you.
My question was, do different neighborhoods host this midnight basketball or?
That I don't know. I know it's at CT Martin because it's big enough, the parking lot is big enough, and plus they have a gymnasium. I don't know if he has plans to move it around the city. It'll be nice, but I just simply don't know. And then the other piece, very quickly, my office is starting Walk With Me Wednesdays. One thing I campaigned on, just like we were knocking on your door, started a campaign asking for your vote. Every other Wednesday, my office was shut down and we would hit the community bringing you information and things of that nature. The first one we're going to do, we're going to concentrate on the business corridors up and down Boone, Hollowell, and I don't know if we added a 3rd Street, but it's including Fulton County Health, APD, commercial code enforcement, as well as housing code enforcement. And this walk is going to be a courtesy walk to the brown stores, the blue stores, the green stores. We all have them in our community. And it's going to be a courtesy, not a citation, but when we come back 2 months from now, we're coming to shake you down. Because in order to change conditions in our neighborhood, sometimes we must change conditions in our neighborhood. But then the following week, and we'll be reaching out to get you on schedule, we're actually asking community leadership to give us some of your worst streets to where we need to concentrate that type of enforcement. And we're actually, like I say, we're gonna get out and walk the street. If we don't do it in 1 block or 2 blocks, we're coming to see what needs to be seen and also bring information. We already have vendors lining up to walk with us. American Heart Association, Xfinity with some low cost internet. There's just so many people that's lining up to just come out and walk the streets with us. So that's it.
Did we have any other questions, announcements, anything?
They are, yeah.
registered, you can reach out to myself or anyone, and we can send you the registration info. NPUJ, our next meeting, April 26th at 7 p.m. via Zoom. Thank you all for coming. We have water, we have cookies,